Opus is about a larger than life, eccentric pop star played by John Malkovich who disappears after 30 years and comes back to the public eye. He invites all of these wonderful people here to listen to his newest album, and that's where all the fun begins. It's outrageous. Like, I think, like, I I started working on Opus 5 years ago. So you're sitting in a room and you write something and you think it's funny, and then IO delivers it, and you're like, "Oh, it was funny." It's extremely easy. This was the opportunity and like the honor of my young 36-year-old life, and we had a ton of fun. It was freezing cold. New Mexico, perfect crew. I have no notes other than the weather. Holy shit, was it cold? But man, I'm so proud of the film that we made. I'm so happy people finally get to see it, and that I get to be here and with all these humans that I love. It's cool.
For me, I just thought it was a very intelligent script. And I like the characters in it. I like the story and the kind of oddity of the story. It goes to very unexpected places. And myself, I would never look to a celebrity for any kind of moral authority or life lesson, not because I don't think there are excellent people who happen to be known, but because I just don't think that's really our job. So I read it and liked it and liked where it went.
Yeah, I mean, I feel similarly. I like if I finish a script, I like have questions, and I feel like I was like Mark. Like we need to meet. I have questions. Like I want to know more about these people and like this world and what drew you to it. And I mean, I think as somebody who definitely is a part of like the social media generation, like fame is so much more ubiquitous. Kind of anybody can be a celebrity if they really want to be. And I think also just like the nature of fame and how it's changed. Um, and a story that is kind of dealing with somebody also who is like of the generation of like true hard concrete fame. Like there's facts, there's data, there's merch, there's fans, there's people who would show up and have these feelings. That conversation, I feel like I'm always kind of interested in, not just in the level of celebrity, but like how it affects all of us. So getting to kind of work with everybody and play with everybody and kind of ask these questions together was fun to me. I saw you do a finger point.
Oh, I guess it's acknowledging. Oh yeah, I do things where like
I was like, I don't know, I could volley it right over.
this was so exciting. This was such a unique script where I just saw on the page, and I was so happy to come and support everybody in this piece. And the characters are so rich and different. I jump at the opportunity to play new people I haven't played before, and I get to play a tabloidy journalist who is much different than myself. So that was fun.
I mean, first of all, I guess I'm just agreeing really with what people have said in that it throws up questions and doesn't necessarily answer them, which I kind of liked. And there's sort of some conflicting kind of things in there. Like I wasn't sure what I thought afterwards, which I kind of like that feeling at the end of a script. And it was also really fun to read, but it is also really dark. It just had all these kind of levels in it that I felt excited by. And also I got to play like a kind of a music bro, like an old school music bro. Similarly, like it was a really fun role to play. And
Being mean to me.
being mean to Io. I mean, who wouldn't love that? And also Juliette and I had worked together before, and we got to work together again as a sort of like sometimes a little bit of a duo, which was super fun. But yeah, I'm so in awe of Mag and proud of what he did with this film, and he was just excellent in holding it all together and keeping us on track with the story, and it was really exciting for me to work with someone who I can't believe it's his first film, I'm super excited to see what comes next for him because I think he's awesome.
What do you do when you're getting confident?
Sit through it, suffer.
I do feel like a freshman coming to high school with all the seniors. And so for me, I was like so thrilled at the opportunity to even get to share a scene with these legends on this couch right here who are so accomplished and adored and by myself and by everyone. And the script was so smart and fun. And I actually kind of was like, maybe this might actually could happen, And so that was really fun and interesting to me. And yeah, we had a great time on set, and it was a really wonderful experience.
Mark Anthony told me he was going to get some great music for it, and I had my doubts about that just because I think that's very hard to do. He brought one piece to visit me when I was directing a play overseas, and which was nice, and then he decided against that one. Then I got these three songs. I think the morning I listened to him on the way to the recording studio, uh, quietly in the Uber, and I thought, well, that'll be a challenge, and because I hadn't sung any pop in probably 40 years or more, and so I walked in, and there was Mark Anthony, and there was Nile Rodgers, and then The Dream, and we met, and there was the engineer.
Kook.
Kook, they
Kook,
call him,
yeah, legend.
and they said, well, how do you want to proceed? And I said, well, let's record, and we started, and then he would tell me kind of quite early on, he'd say, no, let's go up for that. And I was kind of like, an octave? Really? Because that was kind of 8 billion unfiltered camels ago. But he said, yeah, you got it, just do it. And that's how it went. And he was amazing. And I think the songs are great.
There was an amazing period where Dream and Nile were working with John Malkovich as Moretti and Beyonce, and then back with John, and then Beyonce, and John.
I feel they're often in conversation with each other, though.
Absolutely, you know. So he had big shoes to fill, and he knocked it out the park.
I think. Listen, I'm what you see is what you get when you look at me, and I think so many of the stories that have moved me throughout my life are characters who don't look like me, are characters who don't have my worldview. We might not be the same age, the same race, the same sex. We might not have the same orientation. Whatever. It's like the humanity is what moves me, and so I'm also like, there's people that I love and I work with, and we have different politics. It's like but it's the humanity and like care for each other. I think that's has to be the heart of it. So I think for sure it feels maybe slightly psychotic at times. If I look at the news for a single second, but my hope is that for me and that for other artists that we continue to just champion each other's work and I don't know, all to say that it's massively important. There's so many queer storytellers who have changed the medium and I don't know, could and change lives and outside of that, storytellers who are not in Western, in the Western canon, like I don't know. So it's a not the most eloquent of answers, but it's because I
Beautiful.
it's because I'm getting worked up in my
Yeah,
head.
great.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Actually, yeah, I'm mad at you, Glenn. We're fighting. We're fighting now.
I've been seeing new headlines just in our movie world that I'm really excited by, in that there might be a new renaissance for independent cinema, and I feel like that this is the biggest area of diverse storytelling and characters, and we're seeing it more and more. So I want to lean into the cup is half full in these moments, and especially this festival has a particular vibrancy and aliveness. I came before the pandemic, so this has been an exciting time for movies and characters and rich storytelling. I just want to add to that.
Can I just pick up on something that I have said? I think the key is in championing each other and championing all sorts of different voices. I think the arts has always been a place where change can happen when change is being kind of squashed in other areas, and I think it can be a really powerful kind of way of getting stories, telling stories also that aren't necessarily exactly about what's going on, but are kind of paralleling what's going on. It's such a great thing, and I guess that can happen in any kind of story about any kind of person. That's the stories that I really respond to are universal stories, and it could be the person could be completely different than me in race, politics, you know gender, sexuality, whatever. I hope that we're moving towards, and I think that we can you know, guide a movement towards just a sort of universal collective kind of lifting each other up and helping each other relate to each other's stories and supporting each other, telling the stories that are meaningful to us and can resonate with others, I mean, I'm really just rephrasing what you said, but I think it's a really passionate time for all of us to sort of try and figure out how we can contribute and how we can lift each other up. And I think as long as we're asking that question and like trying to do that, we're on a good course.
And for these individuals and the crew, it's like it's one thing when you sit and you're like, hey, we should all do X, Y, and Z. But the way that they made this movie, the lack of ego that they brought to it, the respect and the way that everyone listened to everyone, and like, this is Ariel's journey, and Io very much so a leader on the set, very much so, a voice on the set. Same with everybody on this couch. Murray Bartlett would show up at like a 6 a.m. call time, knock every one of his lines out the fucking park. Sorry for cursing, deadline. He'd bring you homemade trail mix that he somehow made that's scrumptious. Like, there was real love. And there was, I think that as the world seems crazy around us, when you have people that are as accomplished as John and Juliette and soon to be, and Murray Bar, like, you have this amazing cast. You would think with this amazing cast comes all of these other things, but everybody just came to make the best film. And um, there's something really beautiful in that, and that we could control. And I was really inspired by the way they treated everyone, and again, the leadership. And so I don't know, I wish that we could show people that aspect of it as well.